Hello, on this video I want to talk about the while loop and also the do while loop. So first let's define what a loop is. So a loop is a code structure that lets you do something over and over again. So every time you have a job or something that needs to be done many times, use a loop. There are many types of loops, but on this video I'm going to be talking about the while and the do while loop. So let's start with the while loop. So to create the basic syntax of the while loop, I'm going to start typing while, and then right here I have two options on the IntelliSense. One of them is while, so I'm going to highlight that or click and then press enter. And then Visual Studio creates for me the basic syntax of the while loop. So the while loop starts with the word while, and then here between parentheses you have a expression that evaluates to true or false. And then in the body of the while loop, that's when you do something. So let's say I just want to display a message. So if I run this program the way it is, it's going to display hello world forever. And that's a problem because it's never gonna end. So we need a way for this while loop to end and then you move on. So the first thing I'm gonna do here is to create a condition for this to end. So I'm gonna create an int here, int x equals 0, and here I need a condition for this loop to stop executing. So my condition is going to be when x is less than 5, then continue looping. Now, before you enter this structure here, x equals 0, then you come here and you test this expression. So if x equals 0, then x is in fact less than 5, so this evaluates to true. And then it comes here, executes this code, and then once it finishes here, it goes back to line 11, and then on line 11 it tests again what's the value of x. The value x is still 0, so this is true, and executes again, and it keeps on going forever here. So this is another infinite loop. Even though I am testing here, even though I do have a Boolean expression, this is still going forever. And it's going forever because the x never gets updated. So I need to update the value of x, otherwise this is going to run forever. So I'm going to just add 1 to x here. So now this loop is not infinite anymore, because once we come executing this code from the top, x equals 0, it evaluates this expression. So this expression is true, it does the work, and then it adds 1 to x. So now x equals 1. And then it goes back to the top here, evaluates again. Now x equals 1, this is still true, it does the work, adds 1 more. Now x equals 2, it goes back here through, and then it keeps on looping until x equals 4, and then finally when x equals 5, it gets here, then evaluates is 5 less than 5, that will be a false, and once this evaluates to false, it gets out of the loop and it's over. Alright, so I'm gonna run this code. So here I printed hello world 5 times, and then once it printed 5 times, it got out of the loop. Now, instead of printing hello world, I can also print the value of x. So I'm going to run again, and here it printed for me 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So for the while loop to work perfectly, you do need a condition right here that evaluates to true or false, and you also need a way to update the value of x here so that eventually this loop comes to an end. Alright, so that was the while loop. Let's go for the do while loop now. I'm going to comment this out. So I want to do a do while loop now, which is this one right here. And for that, I'm going to type do. And then if you look at right here, there is a code snippet for do. So I'm going to click here, or if you double click, it will create the code for you as well. And if you look right here, there is a significant difference between the while and the do while. The while loop, it tests the condition and then does the work. On the do while loop, it does the work, then it tests the condition. So I'm going to do a similar condition that I did here on the while loop. So if x is less than 5, then I'm going to do the same thing I did in the top. I'm just going to print the x, and then I'm going to update the value of x. So now x still starts at 0, okay? So it starts at 0. I'm going to run this program, and let's see what happens. It prints 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is exactly the same thing that the while loop did here in the top. Now, what if the value here is 10 instead of 0? So if that's the case, when I run this do while loop, it will execute this code at least once, because once it comes here in the top on the do, the value of x has not been updated yet. So the do while loop will execute what's inside the body at least once, even if the condition will fail in the first loop. So I'm going to run this program, and then it prints 10. Now if I do the same thing with the while loop, nothing gets printed, because on the while loop, it evaluates the expression, then executes. Now, if x equals 10, then this is false, and the code inside the while loop never gets executed. So in summary, the while loop and the do while loop, they both do very similar things, but the main difference is that the while loop first evaluates the expression, then executes the code. The do while loop first executes the code, then evaluates the expression. That means if the expression is false to begin with on the while loop, then this code here never gets executed. On the other hand, on the do while loop, even if the initial condition is false, this gets executed at least once. Alright, so that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.